Clerk will call the roll.
Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Roy Charles Brooks, Commissioner Precinct 1.
Present.
Andy H. Wynn, Commissioner Precinct 2.
Here.
Gary Fickus, Commissioner Precinct 3.
Here.
J.D. Johnson, Commissioner Precinct 4.
Here.
Constitutes a quorum.
Thank you. Our invocation this morning will be delivered by Pastor Willie Weaver from the Worth Baptist Church in Fort Worth. After the invocation, please remain standing for our pledges. Pastor, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for the opportunity. Let's pray. Our Father, as we come to you in prayer, we acknowledge your existence, that you are the first cause, the great I am that I am, the eternal one. And we thank you for redemption's plan for mankind through your Son. And Lord, we ask now that you would just be with our country during this time. We thank you for America, what a great country it is. And I pray that we would always abide by those principles of your word, for we know that the Bible teaches that righteousness exalteth a nation. And Father, we pray for our Congress today as they have a great dilemma, and we ask that you would give them wisdom and help them to not be selfish in their agendas, but that they would work these problems out for the benefit of all of us. We pray for world peace, even though we know that there'll never be permanent world peace until the Prince of Peace returns and sets up his permanent kingdom. But we pray that we would do the best that we can to be able to get along with each other and to have a wonderful place to live. We ask you to be with our military today and bless them and their families, and especially those that are in harm's way. And we pray now that you would bless Judge Whitley and the commissioners and give them wisdom, that they would be able to make the kinds of decisions that would help us to have a continued wonderful city and county to live in. We ask this in your Son's name with thanksgiving. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of court, we have numerous agenda announcements this morning. First, let's start with Juvenile Services. Item 8G2, this is a receive and file of the FY14 contract. There is a revised court communication in your folder this morning as it relates to that particular item. Under purchasing, item 8I1, this is a sale of recycled paper. There's a revised court communication as it relates to that particular item with the bids that came in yesterday. Also under purchasing, item 8I15. This is bid number 2010-107. We're going to hold this particular item for 1 week. Also on purchasing, item 8I23. This is a designation for Southwest Solutions Group. We're going to also hold this one for 1 week. Item 24, which is affiliated with item 23, we're also going to hold that for 1 week. Under Transportation Services, item 8K1, there's a revised court communication in your file this morning. Then two other issues, one directly related to the agenda and one that deals with the Criminal Justice Coordinating Committee. It's meeting this afternoon at 2 p.m. It won't be meeting in 504C. However, it will be meeting on the second floor of the Family Law Center. I believe the topic is human trafficking, and Commissioner Brooks has spearheaded that discussion for quite a while, and that meeting is going to be moved to a larger venue because of some guests that will be that have been invited to that particular item. And then finally, members of court, on the briefing item, item A, which is the United Way presentation, we're going to move that up on the agenda, and we will take that as the first item under proclamations, resolutions, and presentations, which is item 6. That's all I have.
The one thing I might say is those things that we're going to hold for 1 week, we're going to hold for 2 weeks.
That's correct. We do not have court next Tuesday.
So,
Thank you, Your Honor.
thank you. Court members, you have before you the minutes of our work session on September the 24th, as well as the minutes of our regular meeting of September the 24th.
Move approval of both. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. We do have a full court day today, and we have several proclamations. We have a lot of employees who are here to for us to recognize. And, as a part of this, we oftentimes talk about what a family this is. And this past weekend, we had sadness in the family. We lost our CIO, Mr. Steve Wetzel, passed away this weekend, and it was a shock to everyone. Steve joined Tarrant County in July of 2012, and prior to that, he had spent 5 years with Maricopa County, Arizona, where he served as their CIO. He was really an outstanding leader. He received Manager of the Year from County Executive Leadership. He was ranked as one of the top 10 CIOs for local government in the country. Steve had over 25 years of experience in a lot of different areas of information technology. He specifically excelled in business integration, strategic and tactical planning, information security, and global network infrastructure. He was always thirsty for knowledge. He had degrees from Phoenix College, from Northern Arizona University. He had an advanced degree in security management from Webster University. He had completed executive educational programs from the Kellogg School of Management, from Northwestern University, and from Harvard University Law School. He had achieved numerous professional awards, such as the Microsoft BI Pioneer Award, which is an international award recognizing visionaries in the use of BI and data warehousing technologies. He had only been with us for a year, but he brought national recognition to Tarrant County by participating in a nationwide 2013 Digital County Survey. As a result, we were ranked as one of the top 10 digital counties in the population category of 500,000 or more. As I mentioned, he had a passion for continuing his education. He was a mentor. He was a teacher. Folks said he basically had an open door policy to his employees to discuss their career development, their work issues, problem solving, and opportunities to improve the balance of his work life and his home life. He was compassionate. He had a great deal of honesty and integrity. And, I think this is something, when I read this particular part, this was something that kind of struck with me, because it's what my dad always had said to me. Never require your employees to do something that you would not do or are not doing yourself. His wife of 31 years, Nancy, is left behind along with his children and 7 grandchildren. His mother and father still live in Phoenix along with brother and sister. He was 55 years of age. I knew when we started interviewing and when we kind of narrowed it down, and Steve, I found out that Steve was one of the candidates, I had an opportunity, had many friends in Maricopa County, and had an opportunity to talk with them, and without exception, they all spoke of his dedication to the work that he was doing, how well he did, he is certainly someone who we're going to miss in Tarrant County. And I hope and I know that we will keep his family, his children, his parents, his wife in our prayers, and the department. You know, those of you who've worked with Tarrant County, how close we are as a family, and how when something like this happens, it really affects all of us. And so as you think about this, please keep the IT department in your prayers also, because we lost a very dedicated public servant this past weekend.
Amen.
The other individual.
Did we close the court today?
Yes, we will, please. We will close the court today in memory of Steve Wetzel. Also, this past week, you will see and you will notice today that our flags are at half-mast. Army Sergeant Jay Sticklin was killed in action on Saturday in Afghanistan. His parents, Beth and Jim Funk, lived in this area. He was a Army sergeant, 23 years old. He left behind a wife, Heather, and 3 children. He had lived in Fort Worth from 1997 to 2005, attended Fossil Hill Middle School and Hillwood Middle School, and then had been a freshman at Haltom High School before his family moved to Georgia. Again, he was deployed and was in the Army's Group Support Battalion, 1st Special Forces Group, and again was killed in Afghanistan this past weekend. So it's been a hard weekend for the area, but we want to remember these folks for their service to our country and to our county, and it's because of people like this that one, as from the military standpoint, that we're able to enjoy the freedoms that we have, and then from the public servant standpoint, that we're able to serve the citizens of Tarrant County. So we need to remember these folks and their families in our prayers. With that, we're going to move on to some proclamations, and then we're going to have some celebrations of anniversaries. But before we move into that, one of the things as a community that we celebrate each year, and then I hope that we begin and continue to try to understand more about, is the United Way and the effort that they make to really help our community get a leg up in many different areas. This year's co-chairs for the United Way is Charlie Powell as well as his son James Powell. Charlie is a banker in the area, has been for many years. James works over at the North Central Texas Council of Governments as one of their attorneys and planners. They are co-chairing the campaign. I know that Tim McKinney, the executive director, as well as other folks from the United Way are here today. But Charlie, if you would come forward at this time, or I guess Tim.
Yes. I just want to say very briefly, Judge, how much we appreciate your support and the support of all the commissioners here in this chamber. Over the last 3 years, the campaign at the county has more than doubled, and that could not have been possible without the great support of each of you, and I just want to let you know that we appreciate it very much. You know, we are working hard in the community to improve lives in the areas of education, financial stability, and health. We're making great progress in that, positively affecting the lives of thousands of people every year. But in addition to our work in those 3 areas, we also appreciate the opportunity of working with the county in several things in addition to those 3 things, namely transportation. We've made good strides with the help of Judge Whitley in establishing the Tarrant Riders Network this year, which is going to be a very important means of transportation for people with disabilities and seniors all over this county when it eventually rolls out within probably the next 6 months, I would guess. Charlie and James and I met with the mayor yesterday, and boy, she's ready to go, Judge. There's going to be a contest, and we're going to make it a little bit bigger this year. But Charlie will speak to that now. In the essence of time, I'm going to relinquish the microphone to Charlie and James, but I do want to take the time to say how much we appreciate the support of the county. Thank you.
Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Well, I think Tim pretty much said it all. Judge, Commissioners, I'll make this very short. You have a very lengthy agenda. I guess, again, on behalf of the United Way, thank you very much to each of you for what you do, and also, obviously, to the employees. Ann's hiding over there, but Ann, if you'll step up and open, I know you have your Live United shirt. We didn't plan this, but obviously Ann Farmer is very involved, and we want to say that was not a prop, Ann, but thank you very much. Like Tim said during his comments, that the county has, over the past 3 years, continued to increase its support to United Way, and we're very, very appreciative of that. You know, support comes in all kinds of different ways, and I know that each of you have nonprofits and other organizations, and some of our, obviously, partners. We have 43 partner organizations with United Way in your precincts, and y'all do so much for people and your constituents in those. But I also want to say that yes, we do need the money. It's not just about the goal. The United Way board set a $21 million goal. When you hear words like government shutdown and you hear words like sequester, you kind of go, ugh. But as we've continued to tell people around this county, it's a very giving community we live in. You know that, we know that, so we're looking forward to reaching that goal with your help and with your partnership this year. One thing I will mention, as I said, I know each of you have various things in your precincts, but I can't help but say I know that Commissioner Wynn on November the 1st has his Taste of Asia event out in Arlington, where all the proceeds of that go to United Way. Also, I know, I guess it's about 2 weeks ago, Glenn, we asked for your help. I know we came down and met with a couple of the mayors of Northeast Tarrant County, Gary, because we wanted to get some additional excitement and activity going out there. And after our discussion, Glenn actually volunteered to go speak to the mayor's roundtable about the 14 mayors out in Northeast Tarrant County and took them a challenge, kind of like Tim mentioned, the mayor sending you a challenge. But again, we really appreciate that. Then something else happened just last week, and we introduced James as co-chair, and we normally have a joint speaking, but for time we're going to make this short this morning. We got a little gift of something we'd like to pass out to you to kind of speak again to what Glenn did. You're going to get a Texas Ranger baseball and a picture of Glenn Whitley last Tuesday night throwing the first pitch out at the Rangers game. Now, I'm happy to say, unlike last night, they won the night that Glenn threw them. In fact, they won every night, Glenn, all the way to the end. So there is a picture going around. And we also thought we're going to leave you a felt tip pen. And we thought Glenn may want to sign your picture and your baseball because, like Nolan Ryan, you know, you may want to hold on to that. It could be very valuable one of these days. But that's just a short. I don't know
that I wanted you giving them something to throw at.
That's just a quick way of saying, again, we certainly appreciate the financial commitment.
It didn't bounce.
Uh-oh.
It didn't bounce.
Yeah, JD, he was very concerned about that.
No, did you make the plate?
I got 2 text messages from friends who were just in the stands that the judge needed a little help.
It didn't bounce.
Well,
it almost went over his head, but I didn't bounce it.
You know, I've had the pleasure of knowing you 5 gentlemen, a bunch of years. I'm not going to tell the judge, Gary, he needs some help. You can tell him that. But again, for sake of time this morning, and again, we're going to step back here, and you know, we got introduced as co-chairs in the 91-year history of United Way. This is a first. I'm very proud to have James on this. So there is no confusion. He's the young, good-looking, smart one. I'm the other co-chair. So there's no confusion.
There was no confusion.
Exactly.
There was no confusion.
Thank you very much. Well, I'll end by, yes, J.D.
Charlie, while you're doing commercials, we're also going to have a fish fry for United Way, which we do every year and have for many years out at Precinct 4 on October the 18th at 11 o'clock.
Good. We'll put that on our schedule for everybody. We will definitely be there. So,
And the Precinct 1 pancake breakfast will be November the 8th.
all right. Well, we
And Charlie, we're having on October 31st.
good.
Also.
Well, I'm glad I've been on a diet because obviously I'm going to put my weight right back on. But, you know, in a very serious note, we know what these funds do. They support the 43 different community partners that United Way has. And we know that with your help, as we partner together, we're going to make Tarrant County even a better place to live, work, and raise your families. So on behalf of United Way, but more important, on behalf of the individuals who receive those dollars for the services that those agencies provide, on behalf of United Way, we say thank you very much, and we look forward to continued success. And as I left the mayor's office yesterday, and Tom was sitting there, she can call you Glenn. I'm going to be respectful and say, Judge Whitley, she said, you tell Glenn to bring it on. That was, thank y'all very much.
Thank y'all. I would like to ask a couple of things. One, you know, it sounds like Commissioner Wynn is already trying to make sure he doesn't lose again this year. Like he lost last year as far as the, you know.
When it comes to supporting United Way, there is no loser.
That's true. Right. But we appreciate that you buying us.
Nicely done, nicely done.
We appreciated you buying the rest of the court lunch last year. I hope that the 5 large departments, the tax assessor and the district clerk and the county clerk and the DA and the sheriff's office will put a little competition on amongst themselves and maybe some of our departments. We have steadily increased our giving over the last 2 or 3 years, and I want us to continue to do that. And I think last year we gave Ann, wasn't it around? It was around $88,000. I'm hopeful that maybe this year we can pop above that $100,000 mark. So hopefully, we can get there. We also are going to have a little after we get finished with our court, and as we go to close, they're going to go to have a little tailgate party back in 504C. You can't go back there now because there's cookies back there now. Wilder's out of town, so there's still cookies back there. But after the cookies, they're going to break down and then prepare for the tailgating lunch. I know that several of y'all are in the audience today that are the coordinators for your areas for United Way. Would y'all please stand and let us recognize you at this time? Thank you all in advance for what I know is going to be a successful effort again this year. Charlie, Tim, thank you all. James, Faye.
Thank you.
I know everybody, we appreciate you very much your work. With that, we're going to move into our, no, we're not going to move into our proclamations because Commissioner Fickus has an event that he wants to be sure everybody knows about.
If you've seen this poster around, it's about empowering seniors. And this is our 5th annual event. It will be this Friday across the street from First Baptist Church of Euless. This is for anybody 50 and over. And you can get health screenings. There's all types of vendors that are going to be there to teach you things about living as a senior and the quality of life you can have. And we have a feature speaker in Neil Sperry, who is the garden guy.
Yes.
And so we're really looking forward to this. We expect a big turnout, so please come and join with us and have some fun. So that's this Friday, and it's actually in Bedford, right across the street from First Baptist Church and Trinity High School. So look forward to seeing y'all.
This is a great event. If y'all have not had an opportunity to be a part of that, I would, and maybe you haven't been because you're not 55? 50.
We don't check anybody's ID.
It's a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity.
Free lunch.
With that now, we'll move to our proclamations, and we have several. Commissioner Brooks, looks like you have the first three.
Yes, Your Honor. I would ask ratification of proclamations for First United Methodist Church of Crowley, their Lord's Acre Harvest Festival, the 12th Annual Tarrant County Infant Mortality Summit, and Binational Health Week. All three proclamations to be presented outside of this court.
I'll second.
We have a motion, a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Boy, we're breezing along now. Now we have our next proclamation. Commissioner Johnson.
Yes, Your Honor, I have a proclamation for White Cane Day, which I'm honored to present today. If you would read that into the record, please.
Yes. Whereas the white cane was introduced in the United States in 1930 by a member of the Lions Club International and has, along with the guide dog, become the universally known as identifying symbols of the blind and visually impaired, and whereas the white cane and guide dog are tools that are key to greater mobility and independence for the blind or visually impaired, and whereas for the sighted, the white cane and the dog are reminders to respond with respect and courtesy to individuals using them, and whereas for all of us, they are reminders of our commitment to removing barriers, both physical and perceived, that prevent people who are blind from reaching their full potential, and whereas the blind community has come together to promote awareness of the independence and contributions that individuals who are blind make to the social and economic life of our community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do proclaim October the 15th, 2013, as White Cane Day in Tarrant County, and urge all citizens to join in promoting independent travel and full participation of all of us in every aspect of life. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this first day of October, 2013.
And I move for its approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And we have Nancy Fisher, the head of Community Development for Lighthouse for the Blind of Fort Worth, and Sheila Derrick with Fort Worth Chapter of the American Council for the Blind to accept this. If y'all would meet me down front, please.
Well, it's my honor to present this to you again this year and wish you the best, and y'all continue what you are doing, and any comments you'd like to make.
Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate that. Sheila? Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Nancy.
What a pleasure to be here today representing the Tarrant County White Cane Committee and the partner agencies. We also have Alyssa Auer up here from Division of Blind Services, and also want to recognize some of our Lion Club members, Clayton Mesner and Joe Crew, along with some other Lighthouse employees. Blindness or limited sight should not be a person's defining characteristic, but rather it is simply one thing about that person. We strive to show that people can be empowered by using the white cane or a guide dog, and through that they live independent lives and are involved in our community. So we thank you for this recognition. Statistics show there are approximately 37,000 Tarrant County residents who are blind or significantly sight impaired, but they experience day-to-day life a little bit different than you and me, but their quality of life, their contribution to our community, and the needs and dreams are the same as yours and mine. Programs available through Division of Blind Services and through the Lighthouse also provide training and employment, so we have a very viable, strong workforce among the blind community. We'd like to present you your very own white cane, and ask that if you're not busy on Tuesday, which you probably are, October 15th, we would love for you to come out and join us in a walk. We expect beautiful weather and a great turnout. But we thank you so much for this annual recognition. Thank you, Commissioner Johnson.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you all very much. Commissioner Johnson, I believe you have another proclamation.
I do, Your Honor. It's National 4-H Week. If you would read that into the record, please.
Whereas the Tarrant County Commissioners Court is proud to honor the 4-H Youth Development Program of the Texas A&M Agri-Life Extension Service for 106 years of providing experience-based education to youth throughout the Lone Star State, and whereas this admirable program, which seeks to provide a learning experience for the whole child, including head, heart, hands, and health, helps young Texans to acquire knowledge, develop life skills, and form attitudes to enable them to become self-directed, productive, and contributing members of our society. And whereas Tarrant County 4-H serves over 600 youth throughout long-term year-round planning, programming, and community clubs, as well as an additional 15,000 youth who participate in short-term activities and events. And whereas the programs undoubtedly could not have achieved the success that it has today were it not for the services of hundreds of adult volunteers who have given generously of their time, talents, energies, and resources. And whereas throughout its proud history, the 4-H program has developed positive role models for countless Texans, and through its innovative and inspiring programs, continues to build character and to instill the values that have made our state strong and great. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby proclaim October 6th through 12th, 2013, as National 4-H Week in Tarrant County, and commend the 4-H Youth Development Program of Texas A&M Agri-Life Extension Services as the many men and women who have made the program a success. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this first day of October, 2013.
Move for its approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And Cindy Bryant, our county extension agent, and Luke Wumble, Tarrant County 4-H Council President, if you would please meet me down front. We have a group of other youngsters here. Fantastic. Well, it's my honor to present this to you. And Luke, thank you.
Thank you, Carol.
All right, and I want y'all to know that I was a young 4-H kid.
But that was before any of y'all were anywhere near being born.
Any comment, y'all?
Or your parents.
Go ahead. Or your grandparents. Go on.
We thank you very much. We appreciate it. While
I
the
see.
young teens that were here today are part of our ambassador program who go out and speak with the public and provide more opportunities for the youth, we have the president of the county council, Mr. Luke Womble, and he would like to address the court.
The Tarrant County 4-H program is devoted to developing leadership skills in youth by providing them opportunities to grow in fields in which they have an interest. By participating in various roles in these activities, we learn how to plan and conduct business meetings, educational trainings, and community service events. On behalf of the 4-H youth in this county, I just want to say thank you for your continued support of 4-H and its mission to make the best better. Thank you.
Thank you, Luke.
Thank you.
Great job.
Well done.
Commissioner Johnson.
My last proclamation is a proclamation for National Night Out. And if you would read that into the record, please.
Whereas the National Association of Town Watch is sponsoring a unique nationwide crime, drugs, and violence prevention program on Tuesday, October the 1st, entitled National Night Out. And whereas the 30th Annual National Night Out provides a unique opportunity for Tarrant County to join forces with thousands of other communities across the country in promoting cooperative law enforcement community prevention efforts. And whereas many citizens play a vital role in assisting the Sheriff's Department through joint crime, drug, and violence prevention in Tarrant County, and are supporting National Night Out 2013 locally. And whereas it is essential that all citizens of Tarrant County be aware of the importance of crime prevention programs and the impact that their participation can have on reducing crime, drugs, and violence in Tarrant County. And whereas law enforcement community partnerships, neighborhood safety, awareness, and cooperation are important themes of the National Night Out program, now therefore be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby call on the citizens of Tarrant County to join us and the National Association of Town Watch in supporting the 30th Annual National Night Out on Tuesday, October the 1st, 2013. And further, we hereby proclaim Tuesday, October the 1st, 2013, as National Night Out in Tarrant County, in witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this first day of October 2013.
And we have Chief J6 of the Tarrant County Sheriff's Department here to receive this proclamation. I'll move for its approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
I'd like to introduce a couple of our law enforcement partners from North Richmond Hills Police Department and from the Fort Worth Police Department. They have joined us here this morning by invitation to help us celebrate National Night Out. There are literally hundreds of block parties and events going on tonight to celebrate America's Night Out Against Crime. And what you may not know is that when this began 30 years ago, the only thing that the National Association of Town Watch asked was people turn on their porch lights at night. And they would take a picture at night of the United States, and you could tell the difference in how many more lights were on the first Tuesday at that time in August than any other night, because everybody was turning their lights on at home. So thank you very much for this proclamation. We joined together as a team of law enforcement professionals with our community partners and all the citizens to help make sure that we can have a safe and reasonable place to live, where we know that we can call upon our professional law enforcement folks to help us out, and we can rely on our citizens to help us out.
Chief, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief.
Dave, I need to present this to you in your group. We'll get a big squeeze in here. Thank you very much for your Thank you, Judge.
Be careful, Ray.
Now it's your time, Judge.
Now's the time that everybody's been looking forward to. That's me mispronouncing your names for the last. And I have plenty of opportunities this month, I would like to add. So we'll see how well I do or don't do, as the case may be. Again, this is one of my favorite times each month, because it is an opportunity to recognize those folks who really mean so much to the county and to the services that we provide. As I mentioned earlier, it is a family. We celebrate together, and we mourn together. And, I think that's what families are all about. And so it is exciting for me to have this opportunity to introduce and to recognize our employees for kind of reaching those mileposts in time with the county. We'll begin with the 5-year, and then we will go forward all the way up to the 37th year. And the 37th year knows what I'm talking about, so we'll explain on page 2. First, we'll begin with our 5-year employees. Our first is Blanca Amaya, Public Health. Now remember, if it sounds like it, you stand up. Next is Mariana Baxter, Public Health. Carol Bennett, Public Health. I like that, Carol Bennett. Samuel Bryant, Sheriff Confinement. No. I caught you. She must have started. You've kind of followed her, didn't you? It's all right. Samuel Bryant, Sheriff Confinement. Odyssey Daniels, Public Health. Brian Epps, District Attorney's Office. Keisha Galvin, County Clerk's Office. Colleen Giles, Sheriff Confinement. Patricia Gonzalez, Juvenile Services. LaShonda Hallman, Miss Hallman, with Public Health. Next is Lynn Hickson, Sheriff Booking. Lynn actually celebrated his 5th anniversary in July, but at the time he was in Kuwait. He is in the Naval Reserves and was on active duty, and he returned recently, and we wanted to welcome him, and again, thank you for your service to our country. Evelyn Johnson, Sheriff Confinement. Linda McKill, District Clerk's Office. Okay, just on the happenstance that I might have mispronounced that last name. Yeah, that's what I figured. Thank you. Georgia McCowan, Probate Court Number 1. Did I say Georgia?
You did.
It looks more like George to me.
Not even George.
Not even close.
It's not even George. It's Quentin.
Well, mine says George too, but I just came out George-eyed.
We all know him as Quentin.
They say your eyesight's the first to go, and then followed quickly by your memory. Renee Menifee, Public Health. Lindsay Morset, Probate Court Number 2. Gayla Neal, County Clerk's Office. Stephanie Osborne, Sheriff Confinement. Jose Perez, Sheriff Confinement. Ricardo Robanya, Information Technology. I can tell by his grin that I didn't do too good on that one. Ingrid Sanchez, Sheriff Confinement. Randall Sparks, the 297th District Court. Alex Thorngriong, Sheriff Warrants. Andrea Townsend, District Attorney's Office. Steve Townsend, Precinct 4. He's back there in the back room.
He's out smoking.
Regina Turner, Purchasing Department. Gina. Monica Valdez, District Attorney's Office. Michael Weber, District Attorney's Office. Linda Williams, Sheriff Confinement. And Letitia Garcia's thinking, you forgot me. Weren't you? Weren't you? You were, weren't you? Well, you're right, we did, but we caught it this morning from the tax office. These are our 5-year employees. Let's... Thank you all very much. Steve, it's nice for you to join us. Appreciate that. Now for our 10-year employees. Frederick Bauer, Sheriff Patrol. Kimberly Bruton, Sheriff Confinement. Kenneth Chamblis, Sheriff Confinement, or Chambly. Jay Garrett, Sheriff Confinement. Robert Gutierrez, County Clerk. Dina Holder, Resource Connection. Johnny Allen, Sheriff Confinement. Zacchaeus Jackson, Sheriff Confinement. Catherine Martinez, Public Health. Jay Rotter, Sheriff Warrants. Philip Shoup, Information Technology. Bridget Smith, Sheriff Communications. These are our 10-year employees. Let's give them a hand. Now for our 15-year employees, Randall Feltz, Sheriff Confinement, John Greenleaf, Information Technology, Joe Hernandez, Facilities Management, Sharon Hubbard, Sheriff Confinement, Diane Hunt, Juvenile Services, Angela Layfield, Sheriff Courts, Domika Lomadia, Facilities Management. Okay, I didn't get that one right. Sherry Owen, Information Technology. Jacinta Romas, Juvenile Services. These are our 15-year employees. Let's give them a hand. Now for our 20-year employees, Paul Brinkman, Sheriff Patrol, Darren Gabbert, District Attorney's Office, Stephen Johnson, Sheriff Confinement, Lisa McMillan, I got that one right, County Administrator's Office. Stand up. Lisa Porter, Information Technology. Lisa. Marion Ross, Cooperative Extension. Henry Walker Jr., Criminal District Court Number 4. And Marhelen Weberg, Juvenile Services. These are our 20-year employees. Now, our next are our 25-plus years, and we take a little time. I call and talk with each one of them. Our first is Richard Klosner with Sheriff Courts, 25 years, but he was on vacation this week and was not going to be able to make it to courts. But when you see him next week, please congratulate him on 25 years of service. Next is Dan Reisinger. Is Dan here? He also thought that he was going to be out and wasn't going to be able to be back in until next week, so he also is out, 25 years. Please thank Dan for his time. And last is Jenny Rhodes. Jenny, stand up. Jenny's the one who, we say 30 years, but you know, this is the bean counter stuff, where they take away 7 years when you leave and you come back. She started actually in the computer center and then moved to the DA's office and left, and as I said, left for 7 years, and it just took her a little bit longer to see the light before she came back. She came back to the district clerk's office and then moved to County Criminal Court Number 3 and has been there for, I guess, 30 years? Just been in that court 12 years. 12 years? Was in County Criminal Court 4 So has spent a lot of time in the county criminal courts. When I asked her what she liked most, it was how the county really takes care of its employees, and especially in times when they've got a special need. And I know that that's occurred in the past and will continue to occur in the future. She said she learned a lot working in the DA's office, that each job really that she's had over the years have helped her to grow. When last I talked with her, I think you were kind of thinking, maybe 10 more years. But I think she decided that she was tired of training judges. And so she decided that when Judge Mills, stand up. I know this is Jenny's time, but we owe you a great deal of thanks also for all of the service that you've given. And I know you're retiring at the end of next year, and Jenny said, that's it. You know, if he's leaving, I'm gone. I'm out the door. So they'll both be retiring at the end of next year, and we very, very much appreciate the service that both of you have given. Thank you all both. Jenny, stand back up. Just I kind of mixed things up. I know I kind of sounded, but when I talked with Jenny and she told me that she was retiring, she says, you know, I have a lot of great memories from the time that I've been in Tarrant County. She said, in the various departments that I've had a chance to work with, I have taken a little bit from each one of those departments, and it has really kind of helped me in my life and in my time with that. When I asked her what had happened over the last 5 years, she said, well, I've got 3 more grandsons to add to the one that I had the last time we talked. And when I asked her what she planned on doing, she said, well, I want to do some traveling, not only around the country, but maybe around the world some. But she said, the other thing I plan on doing is just what so many of our employees do continuously, and that's to volunteer and to help people and to continue to be that servant, that public servant to folks in need and in the community and in various areas that she's passionate about. Jenny, you've been a great employee for Tarrant County. We're going to miss you, and thank you very much for your service. Refreshments, 504C. Wilder ain't back there, so there's plenty of cookies. Y'all have a great, great day, and again, thank you for all your service. Court members, you have before you our consent agenda.
Move for approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the court, we have two additional items to bring to you this morning. The first one concerns the resolution nominating up to 5 candidates for positions within the Tarrant Appraisal District's Board of Directors. I know that we have at least 2 individuals that different court members would like to recommend. Just a quick summary of this, you have the opportunity to name up to 5. So if there's anyone that you would like to put on this list, now would be the time to make that recommendation and then a vote by the court.
Go ahead.
I'd like to nominate John T. Eubanks, proposed member. Eubanks has served on that board in the past, and he's from Colleyville, former school board president, and has a varied background in business and government.
And I'd like to nominate Mr. Johnny Bennett. Mr. Bennett has been a Realtor since 1989. He is immediate past chairman of the Greater Fort Worth Board of Realtors. He's a member of the Board of Directors of the Texas State Board of Realtors and the National Board of Realtors. Mr. Bennett is obviously very qualified to assume this position, and I would urge your support of his nomination.
Are there any other nominations? Then with that, we'll nominate those 2. We don't really need an action of the court. It's just a...
We do need an action. We need an approval.
I'll second the nominations of those 2.
Okay. You have a motion and a second to nominate these 2 individuals. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And Ms. McMillan is here to make the second presentation.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
We're asking you today for the Commissioners Court to approve the attached agreement for administrative services with Municap, Inc. for the provision of administrative services related to the Eagle Mountain Lake Public Improvement District Number 3 and authorize the county judge to execute the agreement. Last June, the Commissioners Court approved the updated service assessment plan for the PID and the assessment roll. So collection of the assessments are scheduled to begin now with the 2013 tax year. To do so, this agreement allows Municap to do that assessment and calculation and the support services related with that. All of the costs paid for these services will be paid strictly from PID collection funds only.
Is this the resort bid?
Yes.
So any funds expended come from funds that are contributed by the developer through the PID?
Correct. Under the, and Ross Martin is here if we have any further questions, but the way I understand it, under the PID, there is the assessment, and then there's also an administrative cost assessment that is collected as part of those assessments. That administrative cost will cover these costs of this and other legal services and things that happen. But it's all paid for by those assessments that are collected from the property owners within that public improvement district.
I move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. After closed? Ms. Glenn?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
We have 2 items for the court this morning. The first item, we're asking the court to receive and file the personnel agenda.
So moved.
Second.
A motion to second, receive and file personnel agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our second item, we're asking the court to approve a waiver of terminal benefits for Constable Precinct 6. Constable Siegel is requesting a waiver of 376 vacation hours effective October 10th. He is a senior deputy who's retiring on October 4th. We're estimating the cost to the general fund to be approximately $12,500, excluding fringe benefits.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Brewer?
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Public Health has one item for your approval, and this is a license agreement with the Stanford University School of Medicine for the Public Health Department's Chronic Disease and Self-Management Program.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Come on down, Jack. The dogs kind of got after us this weekend, didn't they?
How about those horned frogs?
Yeah.
I thought the Razorbacks did a pretty good job, especially the first half.
You might be worried, too.
Might be worried. I'll stay worried.
I-
We always have to wonder who we get bailed out of jail on Saturday morning.
I have paid homage to McMillan and Debbie and Mr. Riley, so
There's something going to happen later on. I don't know what it is, but something's going to change. Go right ahead.
we have 9 items for your consideration
do.
this morning. Our first item is a bid award recommendation for bid 2013-151, the sale of recycled paper. Recommendation will be toward the high bidder, Pioneer Paper Stock, at the rate of $35 per Gaylord.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our second item is the bid award recommendation for RFQ 2013-067. This is for Juvenile Residential Services. Our recommendation would be to award to the 39 vendors as shown in your court communique. This is grant funded.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 3 is another bid award recommendation for bid 2013-104. This is our annual contract for the purchase of self-propelled road brooms. Our recommendation is to award on a per enterprise basis, awarding to the primary and secondary vendors as shown in your court communique.
Move approval. Second. That wasn't one of ours that was stolen yesterday. Really? In the stockyard area.
Wow.
No, that's street sweeper? I think it was.
Not that I've heard.
Cities.
That wasn't one of yours.
Well, I'd sure hate to see one of the, if it's not self-propelled, I'd sure hate to see one of those ones you had to push around.
What are they going to do with it?
They're
Please
rough.
vote.
They're rough.
Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 4 is a bid award recommendation for RFP 2013-108. This is for family-centered, multifaceted wraparound services for juvenile services. Recommendation would be to award per the contract terms. If approved, also seeking contract approval from the court.
Move for approval.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our item number 5 is another bid award recommendation for RFP 2013-111. This is an RFP for outpatient services for juveniles with sexual behavior problems. Recommendation would be to award as to the terms of the contract, awarding to psychotherapy and yoke fellows. If approved, again, we're seeking contract approval from the court.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our number 6 item, again, is a bid award recommendation for bid 2013-127. This is our annual contract for security guard services. Recommendation would be toward a per enterprise basis, awarding to the primary, secondary, and alternate vendors meeting all specifications.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 7, again, is a bid award recommendation for bid 2013-138. This is an annual contract for the printing and mailing of voter registration certificate cards and pre-printed stock. Recommendation would be toward a per enterprise basis, again, awarding to the primary, secondary, and alternate vendors meeting all specifications.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 8 is another bid award recommendation for bid 2013-141. It's an annual contract for the purchase of our service awards for human resources. Recommendation would be toward a per enterprise basis, awarding to the primary, secondary, alternate vendors, again, as shown in your court communique.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our last item, number 9, is a bid award recommendation for bid 2013-144. It's our annual contract for copier maintenance, supplies, and repairs. Recommendation would be toward a per enterprise basis, awarding to the 2 primary and the 3 secondary vendors as shown in your court communique.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Mr. Riley.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It is requested that the Commissioners Court approve the closing of Old Granbury Road at Chisholm Trail Parkway and North Texas Tollway Authority Toll Road in Precinct 1. The Chisholm Trail Parkway begins near downtown Fort Worth and runs through southwest Tarrant County and northern Johnson County to Cleburne. And by closing the Old Granbury Road at the Chisholm Trail Parkway, the section of Old Granbury Road between the McPherson Boulevard extension and LFM 1187 will be permanently closed to through traffic.
Move approval.
Second, with a speech.
Go right ahead.
The process of getting to this point has been far less than perfect. There have been miscommunications between the various agencies. There have been mistakes about what jurisdiction controlled which piece of road. It is a fact that I did not know about the necessity of closing this piece of road until well too late to come up with any alternatives. It seems that the NTTA and TxDOT were negotiating with the city of Fort Worth about this piece of road, which is actually a Tarrant County road. That being said, we have done all that we could do to mitigate the impact of closing this road, which is a major north-south artery in that section of the county. Without this mitigation, the residents of St. Francis Village would have been landlocked. And there are many other major inconveniences. We have worked with the city of Fort Worth to extend McPherson Road practically into the front gates of St. Francis Village, so that there will be an alternative transportation route for that community. And we're working on other ways of helping to mitigate the inconvenience to not only the residents of St. Francis Village, but to others who count upon that road for north-south access. I think that if the state of Texas, through TxDOT and the legislature, would come up with ways of funding our road system that don't involve using tolls and cutting through communities without their knowledge or consent, we'd be much better off. It pains me to have to vote for this because it is not good for my constituents in southwest Tarrant County. But I will not be the one to stand in the way of what has been a 40-year process of developing the Chisholm Trail Parkway. There are many benefits to the Chisholm Trail Parkway that extend well beyond the residents of southwest Fort Worth and southwest Tarrant County. I will not be the one to stand in the way. This requires a unanimous vote of the Commissioners Court in order to get it done. And I would ask your support reluctantly.
Thank you, Commissioner Brooks. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Bill. Commissioner Johnson, I believe you have an interlocal agreement.
I have several interlocal agreements. These all been approved, Ray. I move approval of item 8L1A through F.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Appointments today.
I'd like to appoint Sylvia Cervantes for a period of 1 year to the T Board, Fort Worth Transportation Authority, and she's a current member, and I'd like to appoint her for an additional year.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Are there any other appointments? Being none, then we'll move forward to the claims, including the addendum.
Move approval of the claims, including the addendum.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the claims, including the addendum. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Briefing items, Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have one final item to bring to the court this morning, and that's the public health update. Dr. Brewer is here to address the court at this time.
I have three updates for you: West Nile virus, pertussis, and the federal budget shutdown, government shutdown. West Nile virus for the week of September 21st through the 27th, we had 156 mosquito pool samples submitted. One tested positive in South Lake, as previously announced. That brings us to a total of 29 positive mosquito samples to date. We have done over 3,474 tests in our lab this year. We still stand at 4 human cases. However, unfortunately, last week, one of those cases was a reported death, as we reported out last week. That was a neuroinvasive case with underlying conditions. For pertussis, this week we're at 511 cases. That's 36 additional cases since last week. We're still seeing this across the state as well.
Is there anything we can do besides sit here and count the numbers as they go up?
Well, as previously mentioned, we're working through our WIC clinic to get more information out and to talk to those mothers and their families to get them immunized. We're reaching out to the Hispanic media because we're seeing high numbers in that population. And we're reaching out to the OB practices, to the pregnant women, and using that cocooning idea of making sure that the pregnant woman, at least in her 3rd trimester, is getting vaccinated, and then hopefully getting more of the adult family members vaccinated as well.
Will there be emphasis on this issue at the Carnival de Salud this weekend?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Very good question, and yes. Yes. And we have found that the word pertussis doesn't translate well into Spanish, and so we're using whooping cough on our materials. What I found out so far, I've asked all of our division managers to let me know if they're hearing anything about the impact of the shutdown, and so far this is what I know. Ryan White is okay for now. Our BioSense 2.0, which is updating the surveillance system for the CDC, is okay. The CDC lab apparently will continue to receive funding so that if we have an event occur, we can be getting confirmations back from them. WIC, I think you heard this on the news yesterday. According to our state, we have in the state 30 days worth of funding to continue for 30 days. In previous years, we've had over $30 million worth of grocery business based on the WIC program just in this county. And we have an average of 50,000 plus visits per month for our women, infants, and children. That's all the reports that I have today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all we have at this time, Your Honor.
Then we will now recess our open meeting and proceed to close to discuss items exempted under sections 551.071, 072, 074, 076, and 087 of the Texas Government Code.
We're throwing that baseball almost over my head. Got it catch field.
Yep, well, I came pretty close to throwing it over. They wouldn't let me warm up at all. They wouldn't even let me try to toss one. Having returned from our closed session, we will now consider the following items.
Under item D, District Attorney, we're requesting authorization for the county judge to sign the tolling agreement between Tarrant County and the City of Fort Worth.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. That's all we have at this time, Your Honor. We're going to close.
In memory of, in honor of Stephen Wetzel.
Right.
And the sergeant.
And that's, I'm going to go back on this agreement for a second. I thought there was an item that was brought to us with the City of Fort Worth that we were supposed to,
That's what.
is that what we did? That was the tolling deal?
Tolling agreement, yes.
Yes.
It tolls the statute of limitations.
When you said tolling agreement, I was thinking we were back over on Chisholm Parkway, and I'm thinking, okay, now wait a minute, I think we've approved that one twice. Yes, please remember that we're closing in memory of Steve Wetzel as well as the sergeant today. Thank you all.